And now the beauty of PC gaming is that you can build what you want for whatever price you want. They say you need Windows 7, a 4-core i5 Sandy Bridge, 8GB of system memory, and a GPU like a GTX 770 or an R9 280. I'm saying that you need a lot of patience with Red Dead Redemption 2. And today we've got a $250 entry-level gaming PC that not only is going to get some decent 1080p numbers, but also be a low power consumption PC that will not only save some money on the power bill, but will also be a great investment for someone who's maybe on the fence and they're playing console and they don't know if they want to get into PC gaming, but they want to give it a try. Then this PC could definitely be for you. Though that being said, I recently did a PC on a motherboard box where I'll put the link up here. And the biggest difference between that PC and today's PC is, of course, we're using a case. So if you've got pets in your house, or if you just want to put all your PC components inside a case, then this build will be better suited. However, we are going with an RX 560 over an RX 470, and the RX 470 does have more power than the RX 560. However, let's roll the intro and then we'll detail all the parts and the prices of each of those individual parts for this entry-level gaming PC. LPC. El graphics card, el RAM, el CPU cooler, el motherboard, el PC. And now in this build, we've got 8GB of DDR3 memory, two 4GB sticks, coming in at $25. Just below that is the RX 560. You can pick these up for $65 shipped. This one here doesn't require a PCIe 6 pin, so it will pretty much work on any power supply out there, though don't test your luck too much. And then we've got the CPU cooler, $7. That's gonna cool down our Xeon 1220 V2, which is an Ivy Bridge equivalent of the i5 3470, which is actually a decent CPU even in today's titles in 2019. And then for storage, we've got a king spec 240GB SSD. These are going for around $27 shipped, and I've already used a 512GB SSD, had absolutely no problems. For the motherboard, Asus H61 MLX motherboard going for $40 shipped. Also comes with an IO shield and a SATA cable. And then to the left of that, probably one of the most interesting pieces since it is shipped worldwide, this is the Johnsbow C2 case. And now the funny thing about this case is, even though it's quite cheap, it's actually quite small in that it only just fits this RX 560 inside, so it actually won't fit in a lot of those RX 570s or 470s out there. So do keep that in mind. And then the last component is the power supply, 500 watts. And this is coming in at $26, which leaves the whole total of this build to $250 roughly shipped internationally. But let's quickly get this thing built up and then see how it performs in games. And now we've completed this PC. It is the $250 gaming PC in the Johnsbow C2. Now, this case right here is actually pretty decent. I mean, if you guys want a separate video on it, then I can definitely make that happen. But the build quality is good. We've got a little power button, a USB 3 at the side here. And one thing I am worried about is the temperatures. So there is no ventilation on all three sides and the top. However, there is ventilation underneath the case. And of course, I think we're gonna have to mount a 120mm fan just to make sure air flows through this case properly. So one thing I'm going to do now is just run a half an hour Heaven benchmark just to test the GPU and also the CPU inside. Make sure they're not too crammed up, make sure airflow is okay for when I'm gaming. But for what it's worth, since we are using an RX 560 and also a 4-core Xeon, I think the temperatures should be okay since the power consumption is going to be very low in this case. So we now finished running this for over half an hour, and the numbers on the temperatures are looking a little on the high side, but they are still okay. As we can see here, the GPU is still running at 100%, not throttling at all. The CPU is running under 70 degrees. So even though it's 80 degrees for the GPU and it's under 70 degrees, it is actually quite a bit hot here today. There is like a bushfire going on around southeast Queensland where I live, and also New South Wales. But my house is okay. It's thanks for worrying for you guys out there on Twitter. But yeah, the temperatures are fine, all considering that this case is a little bit stuffy and also the ambient temperatures are really high today. But with that aside, it's time now to get RD2D DTT2. And that's short for Red Dead Redemption 2. We're gonna load this game up and see how it runs on this little budget box. And of course, if there is stuttering and stuff like that, I'm gonna quickly configure it and give you guys an optimal experience for, I guess, entry-level specs for this game. So we've now tried launching Red Dead Redemption 2, and this game just simply won't launch. I've tried numerous different things now on this game, and what we did was we bought it through the Epic Games Store, and it just refuses to launch. And I tried running it as administrator, I've tried all the recommendations, and I just can't even get the game to launch. So that's, I mean, going into like the politics of releasing a AAA title and then having it not even launch that's like alpha level stuff. Like, I've had games on beta that have run better than this. Like, I mean, Rockstar, what are you doing? I mean, come on, I did enjoy GTA 5. That was good, and even though it had some little bugs and stuttering when it first came out, I mean, this is a completely different story. I've got like the latest drivers, I've got the latest Windows, and this thing just refuses to launch. I mean, did you guys even properly beta test your product before you released it? Because you're asking top dollar, like over $60 US for this game, and it's literally performing worse than a lot of indie titles. So I don't know what to do, because obviously you're gonna have to wait for them to update and patch the game. So in the meantime, all we can do is really, I guess, run the 3 games that we previously had on the Ryzen 5 1400 system and RX 470. So at least we've got something to compare it to. So we're going to play some Fortnite, Dota 2 now, and just see how these games run on this PC. And now there's the build, the $250 PC. It is all finito. And the problem with this one was, of course, I built it because I wanted to play the Red Dead Redemption 2 on it and thinking it'd be a budget PC, but it just simply didn't flat out work. And I guess the thing to come out of this is don't buy this game yet. It's really not ready for PC if this is a AAA title or so-called AAA title and you can't even get it to launch. I'm sorry, Rockstar Games, but you really need to test your products a lot more before you release them to the public and charge good money for them. So easily, I mean, a suggestion would have been just make a beta period for a couple of days where you could have had the whole public test it out and just limit the amount of the map. Say, for instance, you give people the first 1/10 of the game. That would have really gone a long way, because it would have been a beta and people could have played it for free and all this other stuff. But no, you just had to release a broken product and then let guys like me deal with it and have headaches. And that's the thing, like, there's going to be some people out there that are like, you should try some of these fixes. And I did try some of the fixes, but I'm not going to be going to the stage where I'm editing config files and stuff like that. That is just really not right for someone to do that when they're paying $65 US for a game. And so I'm just left with, hey, I wanted to test the performance on this on an entry-level PC, and then I'm coming out of it like, well, I can't even get to play the game that I bought. So that's a bit of a shocker. Ironically enough as well is GTA 5, we installed that, and now it no longer boots on this PC too. So I don't exactly know what's going on, but I think it's to do with the Rockstar launcher, which again started throwing out some different error messages once I opened it as administrator. So yeah, please fix this game. But other than that, we still did get some good performance out of this little PC. As we said before, the temperatures were okay, and then we jumped into Fortnite, and with high settings, with post-processing off and shadows down, we got around like 80 to 90 average FPS, and the 1% and 0.1% lows were quite smooth. So the little Xeon, the 1220 V2, for the money you're paying, especially with 8 GB of cheap DDR3 memory, and if you can find it cheaper than you can find it online, then that's even a better bonus. It all went together with the RX 560, which is a low-powered GPU, and everything here was just sipping power and giving out great 1080p performance on a 60Hz monitor that we were playing on. And then we move over to Dota 2, that was the same thing. It was getting close to 100 average FPS, and the 1% and 0.1% lows were absolutely fine. Though here's the funny thing, when I jumped into Dota 2, I didn't pay attention to the CPU temperatures in Fortnite, but when I jumped into Dota 2, I noticed straight away that the CPU temperatures were getting way too hot for 24/7 use. So I'm gonna be looking at this, like I probably will do a video on the Johnsbow C2 just to see if I get a better cooler on this CPU, whether it's the cooler or whether it's the actual case that's limiting the CPU temperatures here, because I do have a gut feeling that it is the CPU cooler, since I just don't think a Xeon 1220 V2 would be getting this hot in normal operation. It doesn't make any sense. But for what it's worth, it is just doing okay in games. I mean, it's actually not thermal throttling, as we can see with the megahertz of the CPU and the actual load of the CPU. So it's doing barely okay, but that is something I will look into in another video where I will get back, and as it stands, I won't be recommending the CPU cooler that I've used in today's video. So there's a lot better choices out there, and also the C2 as well, that's up in the air. I'll have to take a closer look at that case. Now, I did use the inspector as well. It's something that I do with all the older Intel CPUs especially, and that I feel makes the stuttering, the performance a lot better on PC. And so I was hoping to test that out with Red Dead Redemption 2, but I guess I'm gonna have to wait probably another week, or who knows when Rockstar will actually fix their game properly to launch on PC. So in the meantime, I'm really disappointed with this. I don't know, like, should I go for a refund? Let us know in the comments section below, guys. I only just got back from New Zealand, and then I bought this game and I wanted to test it all out, and yeah, it just doesn't work. So the yes man unfortunately become the no man today in no man's land with Red Dead Redemption 2. So I guess that goes to speak that, I mean, I'm a little bit thin because I never played the original Red Dead Redemption, and then my brother played it on console and he reckons it was a really good game, phenomenal. And I was kind of hoping that they would release the original Red Dead Redemption on PC, which they haven't done, which goes to show that, for me personally, I feel like they're just in this for a money grab. Clearly when it's got this many bugs and it's launched, it just does look like a money grab as well. So more inclined to kind of get my refund and not even bother with the game. But I'd love to read your thoughts and opinions on that too. But that aside, let's move on now to the question of the day, which comes from JFC. And he asks, Brian, do you still recommend the GD900 thermal paste, which we get from AliExpress, which this stuff here comes in around $5 a tube, shipped anywhere in the world. And you can just see the size difference right here between the MX4 and the GD900. You get so much more thermal paste. And when I tested out this stuff right here, it was giving out extremely good price performance. I'll put the link up to the thermal paste comparison here where I tested against a variety of other thermal pastes, and it performed extremely well. Now, something like this, it's a massive tube. You're probably like, I don't need that much thermal paste. But I mean, if you're building PCs and over time, you're probably gonna reapply thermal paste to things, and also if you're building PCs for friends or fixing up PCs, it's always good to just have thermal paste around, and especially at this cost, you're not gonna really be at any detriment. And another thing too, at least from my tests, is it's non-capacitive, non-conductive, so you can go ham with this thing on a CPU or whatnot, and it's still gonna be absolutely fine. So that's 30 grams, that's the tube we've got here, which will last a very long time, even if you're building a lot of PCs. Anyway, with that aside, I hope you guys enjoyed today's build. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button for us. Also, let us know in the comments section below, what was your favorite piece of today's build? I was personally liking the whole build in general. I thought it was a great synergy, and even the little Johnsbow C2 case went well with this type of build. It's going to be great for a home theater PC. But anyway, do let us know in the comment section below about all things budget. Of course, if you don't need a case and you're on a strict budget, then I'll also link the Ryzen 5 1400 build that we did, which does give out better price performance than today's build. So that aside, I'll put all the links in the description for all the parts that we used in today's video, which the good thing is it's readily available. So I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. And if you're enjoying the content, you've watched this far and you haven't subbed already, the sub button's down there, ring the bell, and I'll see you next time. Peace out for now. Bye. $250 PC.